What's good, 99 Dream family? We back at it, episode 81 of the 99 Dream Journey. My name is Julian Taliaferro, and you already know we coming again with another weekly business update, lessons for the week, and topic for the day, which is built from scratch. So to kick off this episode, I'm starting with the quote of this week, and it goes, "All change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end." This is a quote from Robin S. Sharma. I think it just goes to show that in the beginning, it's definitely not going to be pretty. Nothing's going to be pretty. But towards the end, there's a chance that it might be. And again, the quote goes, "All change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end," from Robin S. Sharma. So now I can get to my business update. And for episode 81, I don't have anything too significant to recap. It's really just been continued work on the startup. But I do want to talk about one of the things that we've been thinking about, which is driver onboarding. Onboarding onto our platform. And for that, we're going to have to be looking at our competitors and our indirect competitors to look at their model and the framework that they have set up to get drivers through this process. And I know myself, I'm going to personally sign up for our competitors' platforms and onboard so I can see firsthand what this experience is like and see what the drivers may feel, so I can get a full understanding of what the current process is and see if there are ways we can improve it. And if not, then we can at least use that model as a reference as we build ours. And there's two things that we're thinking about when it comes to onboarding. One is the process itself, but the second is how are we going to get the attention of the drivers? How are we going to attract these gig economy drivers who have a lot of alternatives in the marketplace and show them why our platform is one that they would want to drive for, and at least be able to get them to onboard in the first place. So just wanted to talk through that when it comes to driver onboarding, things that have been top of mind for us and things that we're thinking through. And that's all I have for this business update. And now I can get to my lesson of the week. And I only have one of them for today. And it's just that you can't do things expecting a reward. You should only do things because you want to or because you should. And that should be the motivator. The motivation shouldn't be expecting external affirmation or expecting external appreciation or reward from somewhere. It should really be because you want to or you should. And that's all I kind of have for this lesson. I can look at this when it comes to entrepreneurship and putting in those extra hours. I'm not going to get a reward from that. I can look at it from being at my 9 to 5 and trying to go that extra mile in the role that I'm in, even though it may not be needed. And I'm not going to get a reward from that. But you should still do it because, like I said, you should, or because you want to. And that's my lesson. And now I can get to my topic, which is built from scratch. And this is because I watched a couple videos this past week, which were really cool and interesting, that I actually haven't watched before. And it's those guys who go out into the wilderness, out into the woods, and build these shelters, these structures, these homes with just the stuff that's around them, and they go out there with only a couple tools. And that made me think of this topic because as I was watching it, I felt that the build process is an analogy of life, and the process of building something from scratch could be applied to my entrepreneurship journey. And I just kind of wanted to walk through the lessons or the takeaways that I took from watching the videos and how you can build something from nothing. And in these different videos, each of the different builders had a different way of doing things. Some built from the inside out, others built from the outside in. But there are these builder laws that they all had to abide by. And those are what I'm going to walk through. So the first one is that they all had to clear an area, right? They walk out into the woods and they have an idea where they want to start building. They have to first prep that area move the trees out the way, remove the dirt, throw the rocks around, make space for what they want to build. And I can compare that to us making room in our lives for whatever journey we're about to hop on, right? Making room in our life for building a business, making room in our life for school, making room in our life for learning something new, we're taking on a new hobby. That's what I would compare it to. The second is gathering the initial set of materials. They have an idea of how big the structure they want to build. So they go out into the woods and they cut down the trees necessary. They get the right amount of dirt they think they're going to need. They get the right amount of rocks they think they're going to need. And they gather all these. And I think that would be the equivalent of us gathering our first information that is going to lead us down this journey, right? The initial information that we're going to dive into to learn more about entrepreneurship, to learn more about a hobby, to learn more about school, right? And that's the second thing. Third, once they had all their materials, they start building and they start construction. But every time you have to start with the pillars. You have to start with the four corners of the building or start with the foundation, and they're building the structure. So that would be us, learning the fundamentals of a business, right? Learning the basics of it, the rudimentary side of an endeavor, right? And from there we can expand, right, to the fourth thing, which is building off of the pillars, right? Building the walls, building the roof, the windows, the doors, all those accessory pieces that come from the structure. That would be us then expanding out of just the basics of an initial topic and us trying to dive deeper, learn more and more and more, and expand. All right, so those are the first four. And when you build, you get an opportunity to put your own flavor and your own taste to the structure. So each of these builders had their own flavor to it, right? Some were more wood oriented, some were more stone oriented, and that crafted how their structure looked and how their structure was built. And for us, that's just us putting our own sauce onto our journey and how we want it to look. You can see entrepreneurs, right? You can get an example for what you may want to look like, but at the end of the day, you are yourself. So you're going to be the only person that you're meant to be, right? And that's going to have your own sauce to it. The next thing is throughout the build, throughout the construction of them building these shelters, building these structures, they were constantly gathering more and more material, right? So that's the equivalent of us continually searching for information, wanting to learn more. Each of these builders had to find that right piece of wood, that right log, the right size that would work for their home. And for us, if we're continually on the search for more and more information, we're going to find that one piece of information that's going to be critical and absolutely invaluable to whatever we're building or whatever journey we're on. And I just want to end this topic with just saying that all these builders had an initial vision of what they wanted their structure to look like. But as they're in the process of building it, it continues to morph. So I just want to say that we may have an initial vision of what we want the end to look like, but at the end of the day, when we're in the journey, it's going to continue to evolve, it's going to continue to grow, and you should never be stuck on that initial picture, but allow your picture to grow and change, add new colors or whatever it may be. So that's all I have for this topic. Just wanted to kind of walk through what I saw in the videos and how I feel like that's the same process of me in this entrepreneurship journey, right? Making room for it in my life and then gathering the first set of materials to then starting the building and setting up my pillars first, and then making sure that I always put my own personal sauce to it, and making sure that I also am always continually on the search for more and more information. So that's it for this topic. I was probably rambling a little bit and going all over the place, but that's it for today. Next steps for me are just continue work on the startup. And all right, let's get it, y'all. Going to achieve your 99 dream. And it's 99 dream because you are going to achieve your dream. And it will be 100%, but nothing is perfect. So you're going to achieve 99% of that. And let's go and let's get it.